Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the Chronicle of Hope, where we explore health and wellness topics. Today, I have a very personal and important topic to discuss: my journey from dialysis to transplant. I want to share my story, the preparations, the test, and all the emotions that come with this life changing experience. Join me, follow up, and be sure to subscribe and hit the like button. Now, first off, I would like to thank each and every one of you for liking and subscribing to this page. Thank you for the love that you've shown, for those that have been commenting. Our main aim is to spread awareness about kidney disease and what kidney disease does to your life. Now, in this topic, we're going to cover transplant, preparing for a transplant. And I'd like to give a story of how, in the process, now that we are getting to know the illness better, there came to a time where now we started looking for alternatives. In most cases, when you're diagnosed with an illness you don't know, most people will tell you, why don't you look for a second alternative? Well, we sought for second alternatives, but they turned out not to be okay, and they turned out not to be accurate. I can recall one time we went to, some lady came to see us, and she said that she knows how to treat or what can work for me to bring the kidneys back to life. So, and she had these many Chinese things, including a blue pill. Yes, blue pill. I don't know, but yeah, like I said in the previous episode, kidney disease has also affects your erectile function, especially for men. Please note that. So she gave us a blue pill and some stickers we used to put beneath the feet at interval so that it can remove the toxins from the body. So when I went to sleep, I would place those stickers at the bottom of my foot, right? And then in the morning, they were white, but in the morning when you wake up, they are black. And I'm like, hey, this thing is working. But when you go back to the test, the kidney test, there's nothing like that. Yeah. So that was one of the experiences that I had, where we thought that we are seeking for a second opinion, yet in essence it was not a second opinion. It was not even an opinion in the first place. Okay. Another thing that I encountered, and I know this might rub off some people wrongly, but I'll have to say it. We all believe in God. I believe that God healed me. He healed me. But he healed me because he made me follow whatever I was told by the doctors. It is that simple. You cannot sit at home. Someone has come and told you that you don't need to go for those chemotherapies, you don't need to do this, you don't need to stop eating this. Just pray. God will hear your prayer and you get healed. If at all people can pray for, if at all those people that come and tell you that I can pray for you and you get healed, all you need to do is plant a seed. If they can do that, why don't they go to the wards and pray for those people to walk out? I'm sure if they can do that, anyone would be able to, would not mind paying that amount to get out of the pain that these illnesses bring. So what I want to say is, if you have someone who believes that God is going to heal them, let me talk of the illness that I've experienced, like kidney disease. It is not going to work, because I have seen people who have been told what not to take. They ignore doctors, but eventually they end up losing the battle. Doctors treat, God heals. So you cannot do without one. So I remember this one person who called me from one of the Pentecostal churches and told me, I can take you one Sunday to that church, then he'll pray for you, then your kidneys will wake up. When your kidneys reach end stage renal failure, there is no comeback. No matter how many keshas you attend, I'll tell you that for free. So those are some of the challenges that I accompanied as now, so that we can bring the idea of a transplant. And the person who helped me get over that shock, that disbelief, was one doctor. At first I hated him, because when the way he told it to us, I thought he was hating us, but he didn't. Because what he did, if I can recall, he was like, even without looking at you, John, I can tell you are sick and your kidneys are bad through the experience I've had as a doctor. But that should not worry you, because we can get you out of this. What we need to do is a transplant. Okay, we need to get you another kidney. Do you have siblings? Yes, I said I had siblings. So now we'll start from there. Okay, so in this topic now, in this episode, I'm going to cover some of the steps that I took in the process to have a transplant. And I hope I'll educate people, especially those that are going through the same process. It's a very expensive affair, and especially for support families. If you're supporting someone who's going through kidney disease, a war of kidney disease, please just know, and you're in Kenya, the preparation for kidney transplant is very expensive, especially the pre-transplant requires a lot of tests that will eat you a lot of money. So make sure you have a health insurance card, okay, so that you can be able not to pay this. Some of these tests are very expensive, okay. Then yeah, in preparation, because you also need money for proper health. There are hospitals that are doing it at a cheaper price. Kenyatta do it at a cheaper price, the transplant. I believe even other hospitals have gone down. But with the way the economy is, even as at now, getting guys to come and fundraise for you might be a problem. So in this episode, I'm going to cover some of the things that I went through, some of the things I had to do so that I could have a transplant. Okay, some of the tests that are done and what it means for them. I hope by the end of the topic, or by the end of the episode, you would have grabbed at least one or two and what it means to go through a transplant. Okay, so here we go. It was a challenging period for me in my life, and it made me realize the importance of a kidney transplant. I knew I had to prepare both mentally and physically for this life-changing event. Okay, so I've shared some of the stories that I went through. Okay, so now for us now to start the transplant, we needed to prepare for it. And what is the importance of preparing for a transplant? What is the importance of preparing for a transplant? Preparing for a transplant is a crucial step, and it involves several aspects. One of the most critical parts is undergoing a series of tests, and we are going to dive into them. Some of these tests, okay, tests in preparation for a transplant. Okay, now there are very many different tests, and one of them is a blood test, where you have to identify that if someone, you have to have the same blood group with someone. In the blood test, an O positive, like we were told in the little biology I have, we were taught that an O positive is a universal donor. Like myself, if I was donating a kidney to I can donate, but I cannot receive from them. Initially, even my father was offering to give me his kidney, but because of his age, in most times, doctors opt not to get. They like taking kidneys or organs from people lesser age, because this is the science behind it. As you age, your kidney or your organs reduce in functionality. Like now, a person at the age of 25 has, and if you compare his or her organs with someone who's at the age of 75, the one at 75 years old, his organs or her organs are at 60%. The 25 is at 80-90%. So you can imagine you getting an organ from someone who's already at 60. So that's one of the reasons. Okay, so the first thing I had to do was to get a blood test to first identify someone that is of the same blood group as myself. Now, there's now the major tests that are done before transplant. There is cross-matching and tissue typing, and they are both important procedures in the context of organ transplantation, but they serve at different purposes. We are going to look at both of them, cross-matching and the purpose. Like now, for example, cross-matching is a laboratory test performed immediately before transplantation to determine the compatibility between a specific donor and recipient. Okay, so I don't want to delve so much into it because it is too technical. But the outcome for this, the reason why they do it is positive cross match means there's a reaction indicating that the recipient has antibodies against the donor's tissue. In such cases, transplantation is generally contradicted due to high risk of rejection. Cross matching is crucial for preventing rejection and minimizing the risk of early kidney failure. Okay, that is the first one. The other one was tissue typing or HLA. Tissue typing or human leukocyte antigen typing is a process that identifies the unique genetic markers on the cells of an individual, specifically on the white blood cells, leukocytes. Remember your biology. It involves analyzing the patient's potential donors' HLA markers to assess the level of genetic compatibility. Now, this is the DNA one, not the other one. Okay? Tissue typing helps determine how closely a donor's HLA markers match those of the recipient. The closer they match, the lower the risk of rejection. Now, what is the significant? Tissue typing is essential for finding the most compatible donor in where a living donor, a family member, is available. A close HLA match can improve a long-term successful transplant. Now, in summary, close matching assesses the immediate compatibility between a specific donor recipient before transplantation, while HLA typing evaluates the genetic compatibility between the donors and the recipients more broadly to help identify suitable matches. Both procedures, remember, are crucial in organ transplantation to minimize the risk of rejection and enhance success of a transplant. Remember that every physician wants to go into the theater room and have a successful operation. They don't want to go there and find out things they never knew, they never found out before transplant. And like for example, my tissue typing was a 6 out of 6, which means we were 100% compatible. And it's a very rare case because most of the people that do a 6 out of 6 are normally twins. Remember, my brother is 2 years younger than me. So you can imagine, now there are other people that get a 5 out of 6, a 4 out of 6, a 3 out of 6, and so and so. So what that does, and like I've said, it sort of guarantees how low risk kidney rejection. Okay, because if it did not match completely, there could be a high risk of rejection. I hope we are now okay on that. I wanted to make it a bit broader and explain what that is. Basically, because of the viewer who is now new to this transplant story and is wondering what the hell is all this. I hope I've made it clear. I have skipped a lot of blood tests because there are so many. There are points at which someone is going to be demanded to have an MRI scan, a CT scan, and all of those tests. The other one that I can clearly remember is psychological evaluation. What is the role of psychological evaluation? Its main role is to establish if both the donor and the recipient are ready for the transplant. Okay, they also need to know the intention, especially the intention here in Kenya, where people you might be saying you want to donate your kidney because the recipient has promised you something. They must make sure that you're ready to give because you want to give. Because if you do not want to give, they don't want, again, when they get to the operating table, you run away. They want to prepare you psychologically. Okay, so in most cases, psychological evaluation is also to establish that if you'll be ready to live the life after transplant. The life after transplant is not easy. It's a very expensive life. Sometimes you might even encounter, what is it called? People might sometimes not want so much to do with you. I have experienced it. What is it called? This stigma. Yeah, you might face stigma because the people think, there are some aspects of relationships that cannot be as strong as they used to be when you had working kidneys. Okay, because you become very antisocial. Because one of the reasons why psychological evaluation is also important is because they need to put it across to you that there are some rules of the game that you have to follow. Like, you cannot miss drugs. That is one. If you you indulged so much in alcohol, you'll have to shelf that. They need to evaluate they will need to evaluate that indeed when you have this transplant, you will be responsible enough to know that you won't go back to that lifestyle again, for the organ that has been donated to you to fail. Remember, some of these sacrifices people make for their family or friends, there's too much. There are way too much on them. And the moment you become careless, or the moment you become reckless and the organ is rejected, people will not even feel sorry for you. They will feel sorry for the person who sacrificed their one organ for you to survive. Okay, so those are some of the things that the doctors want to establish. If this guy had a transplant, is he really going to look after it? Is he going to afford is he going to afford buying these drugs and constant clinics? So the psychological evaluation is very important for each and every person, and also for the family to understand that even after this transplant, this guy would need your support, would need your help. When he can no longer buy drugs, he will need to be looked after, not to become careless. Okay, they also need to evaluate, is the family ready to let one of your own donate their organ. Yeah, so that is one of the major importance of psychological evaluation. So, in conclusion, preparing for a transplant is a journey filled with both challenges and hope. I am grateful for the opportunity to share my experience with you, and I hope it provides some insight for those who are on the similar path. I would like to encourage each and every one of you who's watching this and you're going through dialysis or you're sick, there is hope. Kidney disease is not the end. Okay? Please be sure to join our next episode where I'll share now when the transplant happened, how I felt, and also we'll discuss how the life after transplant. Anyway, thank you for joining me on this journey. If you found this video helpful, please like the button and subscribe for more content on health and wellness. Stay strong, stay hopeful, and I'll see you in the next episode. Thank you.